guys. Okay, so a few housekeeping things before we get started. Number one, I fixed the focus on my camera. I'm so happy. Old gal is still kicking, period. Y'all like my eyeshadow that matches the color on my shirt? I did that for you. You're welcome. I don't embarrass easily, so I kind of had to dig in the archives of my mind to remember some of these stories. I ended up thinking of 8. I know for a fact I'm not going to be sharing all of these, but we'll just fill out the vibes. I'll share some, you know. Grab your blankie, grab your tea, or whatever. I adore this coffee mug. My granny gave it to me. I told her once, forever ago, that I liked owls, and every single time I went to see her after that, she had like at least 3 owl trinkets for me. Rest in peace, Granny. I love you so much. Get your drink, get your snacks, get cozy, and let's laugh together at my expense. Okay, so we're gonna go in age order. This was I think it was my 7th birthday party, and it was at the park, and some family friends got me the Avril Lavigne CD that I wanted more than anything. Hi, Morris and Denise, I still remember that. I jumped off a little picnic bench and ran towards them to give them a hug, and I fell in front of all of my friends and skinned my knee. Now, that's not that embarrassing. What's embarrassing is I vividly remember I thought to myself, so much for my happy ending. This second story is rough. I was in 2nd grade, and I don't know how schools across the world do this, but our disciplinary system, you would change your color. So everybody starts on a smiley face. Green is like a warning, yellow is bad, red is really bad, and blue, you go to the principal. There was like a whole system. And in my house, my parents' rules were a green warrants a punishment, because warning schmorning, as far as I'm concerned,
you committed a crime.
My class, we were all standing in the hallway headed towards the cafeteria for lunch, and I remember my teacher, for whatever reason, had to go back in her classroom, but she told us, like, be quiet, there's still classes in session. Well, what did we do? We're all 2nd graders. We all started chit-chatting in the hallway. This other teacher bursts out the door and goes, you go change your color right now. One of the people she pointed at was me. In front of God and everyone, I got on my knees in front of this woman and begged her to not make me change my color. And it gets worse. She said, get up, stop crying, go to the line, and do not say a word until you're in the cafeteria. And I was like, yes, ma'am, say less. Well, in 1st grade, our little rule in the hallway was bubbles in your mouth. Did anyone else do that? Bubbles in your mouth. When that teacher spared me and told me to go back in line, I thought this was the appropriate time. I put a bubble in my mouth so that everyone knew I wasn't talking, and do this to anyone that I heard talking the whole way there. An older class was walking the opposite way in the hallway, and this was me. I'm so busy looking at them with a bubble in my mouth, telling them, as I'm doing this to the older kids, I don't see there's a chair in the hallway, and I trip over it with a bubble in my mouth, shushing them. Imagine me, 8-year-old me, and then just like eating it. I need some liquor in this. We're going to middle school now. Yikes. And this has to do with he wasn't a crush. Crushing on him was a lifestyle. It was truly an obsession of sorts. We're gonna call him Alex. To say I was down bad for Alex is like the understatement of the century. I finally told some of my friends about my feelings for Alex, and they were wanting to be wing women. They were ready. They're like, girl, you gotta let him know. One of my friends went over to the table that Alex sat at for lunch, and she was like, hey, can me and my friend Hannah come sit over here today? And they were all like, yeah, oh my gosh, of course. We go over there, and I am beet red in the face. Bob the tomato had nothing on me. Girl, I was red with nerves. So we go sit at Alex's table. He was very funny, and I was feeling out of body. I'm like, oh my god, I'm sitting across from Alex. I'm at the cool kid table. I'm doing this little like shy laugh, and so I'm going, you know, just a little air through the nostrils, right? Alex made the mistake of telling me, you have such a cute little laugh. What are you doing over there? You're like, he mocked me. It was very cute. And so I was like, I did it back. And he goes through his nose. And so I did it back even harder. And he goes, oh. I said, I did it again. And he goes, Hannah, you don't like that? I looked down at my shirt. The size of the snot rocket, you could have seen it from 3 lunch tables away. He was the one that pointed it out. He was the one that pointed it out. He was the one that told me. He was the one that informed me that there was a giant booger on my shirt that I put there trying to be cute for him. Needless to say, I never sat at Alex's lunch table again. This second story is also about Alex 2 years later. Poor guy, he could not escape the discomfort that I brought him. So we were in, do y'all remember that class called advisory? What the hell was that? So Alex had come out as gay, and I remember being relieved because at this point I was over him, but I still liked him. He's a very funny, interesting person. And I remember thinking like, all right, sick. So if I hang out with him and we all know he's openly gay, he's going to know I'm not trying to like come for him all over again and freak him out. I'm about to age myself. I remember Snapchat had just come out and my friend went to another school. We're going to call her Penelope. I was in advisory and my little, whatever the old Snapchat sound used to be went off and I'm looking at it and Alex comes up to me and he's like, hey, is that new thing Snapchat? I was like, yeah. And he goes, what is that? I was like, do you want me to show you? And he goes, yeah. So he sits next to me and we're chatting it up. And I'm like, okay, so this is what it looks like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the whole premise is like the pictures disappear. So we usually send like ugly stuff to each other to be funny. And then I'll like put a short timer on it so they can't screenshot it. And he's like, oh, that's funny. I was like, but sometimes you kind of talk too, because this was before you could direct message on Snapchat. I was like, so then you'll make the snap longer, whatever. And he was like, oh, okay. So like, do you just kind of like show what you're up to? And I said, yes. So I was like, here, I'll show you right now. And I said, I was just talking to my friend Penelope. So I pull up my phone. He leans in for a selfie. We take a cute selfie, whatever. I type, Alex has never used Snapchat, showing him how to use it, LOL. I'm shooting the shit with Alex. We're talking about random funny stuff. And my phone goes off. Blah, blah, and it's Penelope. And I was like, okay, see, look. So she's responding. I open the snap. He's right over my shoulder. And it's a picture of Penelope like this. And the caption says, is that Alex? ? The guy that you used to have the most massive crush on? And I just sat there because Alex is right over my shoulder. We read it together. I wait for the time to run out and it goes away. And I just said, I didn't move. I did not move. And he goes, well, we all see how that turned out. And we just laughed. And I was like, I am so sorry if that made you uncomfortable. And he was, no, it's funny. Like, it's all good. He was so nice. I did not deserve that. Anyway, thank you, Alex, for being so kind. I genuinely hope you're doing well. All right. I saved the best for last. I really, really debated telling this one because you'll know why when I tell you. I always had undiagnosed tummy issues. And it's weird because I feel like it became a trend. It was like hot girls have stomach issues. Like that was a whole thing. I'm going to explain this in the first couple of videos because I don't want to just assume that everyone knows. But when I say Six Squad, I'm referring to, I'm the youngest of 3 girls. And then, so there's 3 of us girls. We're all married. And so that makes 6 of us. So it's me and my husband, my sisters, and my 2 brother-in-laws. But we go by Six Squad because it's way easier than saying all of our names. Listen, my family, we're not afraid to talk about bathroom stuff. Like we've just always been that way. And so we have 2 nicknames for 2 very specific experiences that one could experience when going number 2. The first one being called ghost poop. But a ghost poop is when you take a dump and you wipe, and on the first wipe, clean toilet paper. That was a ghost poop. We love ghost poop. A marker poop, which I coined from Parks and Rec. It's the episode where Andy goes to the doctor and he's like telling every single problem he's ever had. And he's like, yeah, it's like marker poop. Like I just wipe down there and it's like I'm wiping a marker because it just never stops. Come to find out, I was the only one who not only struggled with marker poops, but seemed to struggle with them frequently. Anyway, Six Squad is in Miami. We're tipsy at the bar, naturally. And I need to use the restroom. And of course, it's one of those bathrooms where it's one toilet for boys, one toilet for girls. And so I'm in there and I ate something funky, I guess, because guess who gets a marker poop? Of course I do. I hear women outside. They're like, oh my God, who's in there? Like, they're taking forever. I really need to go. And I'm like, okay. So I am wiping and I eventually, why am I telling y'all this? I cannot believe I'm telling this story. It's for the greater good because there's a lesson at the end. I'm wiping until I literally saw blood. Okay. Let me just defend myself for like half a second. Let's savor any shroud of dignity I might have left. If this is the toilet paper, I'm talking like something that big is what was still showing up. I was very drunk and I could hear the ladies complaining and I'm like, oh my God, like I wiped. There was like the tiniest little bit left. I'll take a really good shower tonight. Like I just felt bad because I'm not kidding y'all. I'd been in there for so long, just wipe. Still can't believe I'm telling this story. So we get to the hotel. We're all sharing a room, by the way. We're all tipsy. We're stumbling back in the hotel. Good vibes, good night. We wake up the next morning and I hear someone say, yo, whose panties are these with a skid mark on it? And that's how I got the nickname Skitty. To this day, I'm not proud of that. I was wearing white underwear. They were all like, oh my God, ew. And I'm all, oh my God, humiliating. I'm laughing it off because what else am I gonna do? Cry? That was my final straw. I went to the GI doctor a little over a year ago now. And I was telling her what I was dealing with. And when I say tell her what I was dealing with, I'm like, girly, my nickname is literally Skitty. I'm bloated half the time and it's painful and I get marker poops. I tell her this and she's like, yeah, babe, you're lactose intolerant. Some of the saddest news a girl like me could receive. But this is why I told the embarrassing Skitty story, because don't be like me. Stomach problems are normalized because crappy food, especially in America, is normalized. Girly, having stomach problems daily is not normal. Learn from my mistake. If you're having stomach problems often, go to a GI doctor and get that figured out, or you're gonna end up like me and have unwanted nicknames like Skitty. I hope this made y'all giggle and have a good time. Thank y'all so much for watching. It would help me so much if you subscribed, liked, commented, all of the above. 2 out of 3, whatever you're feeling, go crazy. Thank you for your support and I hope I'll see you in the next one.